Hello, BookTube. We're starting off part 2 of a vinyl tour, I guess you'd call it. I don't even know what to call it. The Story of Great Music. It's a Time Life series. Came out in the 1960s. I gave a little bit of introduction to the series on part 1, so I'm not going to repeat that. So we'll move right along to the Romantic era. Hopefully you can see that. It's hard for me to tell if you can or not for some reason. Slipcased. They each come with these volumes. The first of which is a sort of a historical overview of the era of music, and then a listener's guide to the same era. And they're relating everything to the greater culture, history, art, literature, the culture around them. So this one's The Romantic Era by Max Ways and the editors of Time Life, and we'll see some of the musical people. But right here, this is Lord Byron, right there. There's Shelley. So we're seeing that whole, let's see, Chopin. It's my edition, has some underlining, that's fine, doesn't bother me a bit. Somebody took this seriously and was working their way through it. And it's interesting to see what they were interested in. So you get these with each set of albums. And then you get this listener's guide to the recording so that you can relax and have something smaller to work with. Each one is done by side of the disc and each band, so you know exactly what's going on. So in this, the listener's guide to the recordings, music of the Romantic era, excuse me, we have Mendelssohn, the Hebrides, Fingal's Cave. We have Franz Liszt, Les Préludes. Chopin, compositions for piano. Verdi, operatic selections. Mendelssohn, violin concerto in E minor. Franz Liszt, piano concerto in E flat major. Schumann, Papillons, song from Liederkreis. Hector Berlioz, Symphonie Fantastique, and Berlioz, the conclusion of Symphonie Fantastique. So you've got the whole thing there. So, moving right along. We go to the opulent era. Hopefully you can see that. Again, listener's guide. And then the book itself. So this one's by Richard Schickel. Probably hear my children upstairs. It's getting close to bedtime. Everyman's Guide to Wagnerland. Isn't that great? You're talking about the ring cycle. And then the listener's guide, which includes Wagner, Prelude to the Meistersinger, Brahms, Symphony No. 2, the beginning, and then the conclusion, Offenbach, Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet, Wagner, Die Valkyrie, conclusion, Johann Strauss, Overture to Die Fledermaus, Saint-Saëns, Brahms, Tchaikovsky, Bruckner, and another Bruckner. Oh, that's the beginning and end of Symphony No. 4. So not everything is complete on these. A lot of them are. They are meant as a story, an overarching story to get you to work your way into the repertoire from there. So next we have the Prelude to Modern Music. Orange colored here. Brown, Prelude to Modern Music, brown with a red type. I actually sort of like that. Time Life Again, Story of Great Music. This is Joseph Wexberg. Did you just see this? It's 1966. Oh, this is fantastic. Heralding the Air Age. Look at that image. So you have pictures of Claude Debussy, Richard Strauss, Sergei Rachmaninoff, Maurice Ravel, Puccini, and Mahler. Hope you can see those. Impressionism. So we're putting everything in context now. Just show you some random stuff here. So here's the Met and the Great Opera War. Strauss. Then the listener's guide. So we have Strauss, Ravel, again Strauss, selections from Rose and Clavier, Mahler, Symphony No. 4, Debussy, La Mer, Puccini, La Bohème, Rachmaninoff, 3 Preludes, Ravel, Debussy, Mahler, and Ravel again, Daphnis and Chloe, Suite No. 2. And fit in here just nice, right next to each other. So you put them in front of the disc, just like that. Excuse me. And then you have the earliest 20th century. Nice work, image from Marc Chagall there. You shouldn't really pull them out like I just did there. I'm just trying to move the video along, but it's better to let them drop out of the box. I'll show you in the next one. The earliest 20th century, Story, Great Music. Again, beautiful cover. This one is 1967. The Wreckage of an Age. You can imagine. Follow right up at the screen. So, excuse me. Bela Bartok, Alban Berg, Gershwin, Darius Milhaud, Sergei Prokofiev, Arnold Schoenberg, Igor Stravinsky, Ettore Villalobos, and Anton Webern. The Ghosts of Verdun. So we're putting everything in perspective again. Here's Chagall's The Violinist, right there. So all the art, well, not all the art, but some of the art, something to give you a feeling for the age and the greater. So you have psychological film, American high life, social comment, and some images to illustrate those themes. 12-tone music in the serial act of Schoenberg. Stravinsky at 84. And then we have the listener's guide again. So we have Schoenberg, Berg, Stravinsky, La Sacre du Printemps, Stravinsky, part 2 of that, Bartok, Prokofiev's Classical Symphony, Stravinsky's Concerto in D major for string orchestra, Schoenberg, Webern, Milhaud, Gershwin, Villalobos, Bacanius, Brasileiras, and then Prokofiev's Piano Concerto No. 3. So I just realized this. If you look at the bottom here, it tells you what image is reproduced on the slipcase. So in this case, it's Marc Chagall's, which we knew. Curtain design for the Firebird, Stravinsky's Firebird. So that's very interesting now. And until just now, I didn't know where those were at. I would have thought they were in the other book, and I looked a few times and didn't see them. Then we have the music of today, which, because this is 1960s, it's not the music of today, but that's all right. And we know where to find out what this image is. So, the books. So we have Listener's Guide and the guidebook. Time Life, Story of Great Music, and the Music of Today. Richard Kostelentz, which is a name you will hear in music. So here. Andy Warhol. Britain's Festival at Aldeburgh, and we're talking about Benjamin Britten. Let's see if we can get a good picture from that. Very young queen. There's the composer right there. So on the cover of this, the title care of Carmen Diavino's award-winning movie Pianissimo from 1963. I don't understand why that's the character, but I don't know the movie. I have to find out. Maybe somebody out there knows. If you do, leave a comment. And then the Spanish style. We have guidebook and listener's guide. Frederick V. Grunfeld again, and this time it's 1967. And the cover on that was John Singer Sargent's dramatic El Iago. And included we have Fala, Tarina, Albinez, Granados, vocal and guitar music, ancient and modern, Chabrier, Bizet, Fala, Zarzuela arias, flamenco songs and dances, Renaissance choral music from the old and new worlds, Fala and Fala. Now Zarzuela, I believe that, I've listened to some of that, I think Placido Domingo did an album of Zarzuela music, but I'm not positive about that. It's just memory. It's not always reliable. And then finally, the last one. Slavic traditions. There's the book. There's the listener's guide. The cover to that was a reproduction Vasily Kandinsky's, writing couple. Let me show you that again. So this is by David Johnson. I've actually been to St. David's. Amazing place. So this is another one of these fold outs. Let's see if we can do this without ripping it up. Very, very very famous painting. Surakov's Boyarina or Boyarinya Morozova, which I've seen even if I can't pronounce. Look at some of this folklore stuff. These books are just fantastic and really Boris Godunov. I better read that caption, make sure I'm right. Yeah. And Rimsky-Korsakov, well, I'll do it in order. Modest Mussorgsky is the fellow who looks a little rough. Borodin, and then Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. So, in that order. And, yeah, so. Let's see what the music on this is. So we have Glinka, Borodin, the steppes of Central Asia, Balakirev, Smetana, the Moldau. I've been to Moldavia, so for some reason that's always stuck with me. Rimsky-Korsakov, Mussorgsky, again, that's scenes from Boris Godunov. Dvorak, Smetana, Rimsky-Korsakov again, and Janacek, Symphonetta. So that's just a quick tour of the type of cultural initiation media that existed in the 1960s. You had books, Time Life series of books did the same for history, the arts. We've seen other ones like Horizon as a publisher. So this was a big thing in the 50s and 60s. I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you, BookTube.